So behind me is a 1964 Cessna 150D. I am the sole owner of this aircraft, and buying this plane was always a childhood dream of mine. I'll give you a little bit of specs on the Cessna 150 and the backstory of why and how I was able to purchase this plane. Now, the Cessna 150s are notoriously known to be the best trainers to be ever built. A total of 23,839 planes were ever produced. This is the 5th largest aircraft that has ever been mass produced in the world. This particular Cessna 150 I have behind me is very beautiful and has been meticulously well kept. It currently has a Garmin GTX 320 transponder, an ICOM A200 comm radio, which I can use to speak to air traffic control. It also has a Mark 12D nav and comm for my navigation, and a U Avionics Sky Beacon ADS-B out. A Cessna 150 currently is able to hold 22.5 gallons of usable fuel. It has about 5 hours of endurance at cruise speed. The total range safely on a Cessna 150 is at 350 miles. That means I can travel from Houston to Dallas, Texas round trip, okay? It currently tops at about 124 miles per hour. The baggage isn't much, but it'll do. This plane currently holds 2 people with a max load of 80 pounds for the baggage. The engine is running a 0200 Continental engine, and the horsepower runs you at about 100. It's not much, but it gets the job done. It burns about 6 gallons per hour in fuel, so that comes out to about $29.50 an hour. There are a few things that I purchased for this plane that did not come with it. For example, an ACR GPS location beacon that you can purchase on Amazon for about 300 to 400 bucks. That is a lifesaver. If you purchase a Cessna 150 or any plane, I'd actually recommend you go out and purchase an ACR, so that way, for any reason, you're out in the wilderness, you're out on the ocean, this device connects directly to satellites in space, and firefighters, ambulance, local authorities are going to be able to locate you in case of any fatal accident. Next, I also purchased a Spirit Radio FTA 550 Pro X. This is a radio transponder. If my radios go out in my plane, I'm able to communicate with air traffic control. The beautiful part about this plane is that, again, this is one of the best planes to get your private pilot's license in. If you are looking to get your license and you're not able to afford to purchase the plane outright like I have, it's gonna run you between, with the pilot, I would say wet, about $350 an hour. Now, this plane behind me has a very unique story. This plane and I have a history, and that history goes back a little over 2 years ago. I was looking to purchase this very exact plane about two years ago, and I contacted the owner at that time. I was in the market for my own private aircraft because I wanted to make my dream of becoming a private pilot and an owner a reality. It's always been a dream of mine as a child. So I called up the seller, and we were going through everything. I placed a $500 deposit down on this particular aircraft, and in we went for our inspection. It's passed inspection, everything looks good. Shout out to Coleman Aviation for, Mitch Coleman was the owner, he's now retired. He did the inspection on the plane. He gave me a full rundown of exactly what was going on with the plane itself, with the hours, etc. Because as you know, overhauling a plane, any plane, can get pretty expensive. I did not want to purchase a plane that would immediately, go into, I guess, the mechanic shop for overhaul and me being able to spend all that additional money. So I needed to make sure that I had a certified mechanic. A few months ago, this year, back in May or so, actually no, back in April, I contacted the seller again, and just around, I was just asking him, hey, do you currently have the plane in your possession, or did you sell it? I know you're in the market for selling it. And he goes, well, I sold it to a buddy of mine. Why don't you give him a call and see if he'd be interested in selling the aircraft, right? So I called his buddy, and after communicating with the buddy, finding out that he hasn't spent much time flying the aircraft due to traveling purposes, business purposes, he hasn't been able to do that, and he was looking to actually purchase a bigger plane because his mission changed. When you have a plane, you need a mission, right? What is your mission? Do you want to get your hours? Do you want to travel with your family? Do you want to become a better pilot? If you want to become from a private pilot to a commercial pilot, you need to understand what your mission is. His mission had changed. He was looking to part ways, but he said, let me speak to my wife before I do sell the plane. As soon as he said that, I knew it was going to come on the market and he was going to sell it. This plane was a off-market deal. It was not on any websites. Like, for example, you have Facebook groups that are the Cessna 150 restoration pages or the Cessna 150 for sale pages. You also have different websites such as Trade a Plane, okay, or Barnstormers. So if you're looking for a plane of your own, you can go to these different websites, and these sellers are selling their aircraft. Some of them are through a brokerage, and some of them are through private sellers. So going back to my story, the seller had said yes. He calls me back a couple days later, says, yes, I'm interested in selling my plane, but it won't be the same price that you spoke to my buddy about. Obviously, plane market has changed, it's gone up, and this was kind of during the pandemic too. I wanted the plane, I was already invested in it monetarily, right? A couple years back, I already know exactly what's going on with this plane, and this plane is super clean. I mean, when I did the inspection a few years ago, I wanted to make sure that I was buying a safe and sound plane. And at the end of the day, you want to make sure you are buying a safe and sound plane, because when you are in an aircraft, the last thing you want to do is have your wings fall off, right? Or something malfunction in the plane. And it's literally a matter of life and death. Spoke to my wife about it, and kind of we came to an agreement that we would purchase a plane. It was a childhood dream of mine to own my own private aircraft, right? But not before I got a life insurance policy. Obviously, I needed to make sure my family was okay. So that's a good benefit if you guys are looking to purchase your own plane. Go out there and get a life insurance policy to make sure you and your family, make sure your family are taken care of at the end of the day if something does happen to you. So some of the costs that came with it, obviously I had to get it certified mechanic, okay? And that ran me about $1,000 the first time, okay? And then I did the oil change on the plane while it was an inspection. Again, we just went ahead and did an annual on it. So we looked at everything on the plane from the breakdown. So it cost me about $1,000 for the inspection. The oil changes, it needed, a new, I would say, some new different items to be replaced and stuff like that. So that ran me probably, I think, around like $600 or so. So all in all, I was already in the plane $2,600, $500 already with the deposit, and then I would say probably a little over $1,000 just on the inspection of the plane previously. The second time around, I spent only about $500 because I already knew kind of what was going on with it, but I wanted to make sure that it was safe and sound. Yet again, a lot of things can change within 2 years. So I went ahead and got that inspection done. It costed me around $500 to do that inspection by another, yet again, certified. I needed a certified mechanic to do that. And I currently have this hangared over at West Houston Airport. And I pay around $1,000 or so for the hangar itself. As you can see, it's a nice and beautiful enclosed hangar. Overall, I'm enjoying this plane because this is my first of many aircrafts that I'll purchase throughout my lifetime. I don't know if I end up selling it. Well, you never know. Can't say never say never. But for the time being, I will keep this plane because this plane is such in demand also, right? I got a great deal on it. You guys can leave your comments below and ask me what was the process like, who did I go to, X, Y, and Z, you know, in order to purchase this particular aircraft. And it's a beautiful aircraft. So when I purchased this plane, I actually flew this plane with my buddy, okay, from Kentucky all the way to Houston, right? Although I didn't get those hours logged into my logbook as a private pilot because I had not registered to become a private pilot then. So I kind of did this backwards. I bought the plane first, and then I got my, you know, I'm now getting my pilot's license. Again, if you can afford to do that, I would recommend doing that. So, right, but when I did purchase this plane, I was gonna get the entire plane repainted with all my company logos. I opted not to do that because it would come out to be a lot more expensive. It'd run me about $9,500 to repaint the entire plane. But what I went ahead and done was the paint is actually pretty nice. I didn't have to do much to it except for doing a ceramic coating on the plane. The ceramic coating ran me about $2,000. All in all, I was pretty happy with the you know, with the work they did here at my hangar, because at the hangar they have different services where you can go out and you know, build out your avionics, you can customize your interior on the plane, and then you can also get it repainted, or I even asked the guy, hey, do you ceramic coat? So I went ahead and spent that, I invested that money into ceramic coating. Once again, if you're able to afford your own private aircraft, I'd highly recommend going for a Cessna 150. You can pick the different classes there are of the 150, you know, A, B, C, D, and then the letters go on and on. But find a plane that's low on tack time, low on the hours. It's gonna be pretty hard to find, but if you find a plane, like, just don't give up, because I didn't give up either. At the end of the day, I found a great plane, it's great hours, it flies beautifully, you know, and you got to make sure that you're out there not letting, you know, things stop you from achieving your goals. So if you guys want to learn more about this plane and you want me to continue to do videos on my airplane and document my entire process of getting my pilot's license, I'll be more than happy to do that for you guys. Thank you guys for joining me on this video. Leave your likes, comments, make sure you click the bell icon and subscribe. Ron Rana signing out. Peace out.